What's up, everyone? What's going on? My name is Buddy, and welcome to What the Fright. We are a horror thriller movie podcast, but whenever there's not episodes, maybe let's release some videos, and I will take recommendations and everything, and then maybe sometimes my wife can join me. She's my co-host, and maybe she can join me for the episode or the video, I mean, and depending on what we do. But today I thought it'd be a fun idea to rank every single Halloween movie. Now we're not going to try to make this video like 30 minutes long, an hour long, which I could honestly do because Halloween is my favorite franchise. So without further ado, why don't we take these Halloween movies, and I know everyone has their list and everyone is like, yeah, I'm right, you're wrong, type of thing. But in a way, we're all right. We know we all prefer certain things or whatever, but maybe there's like one or two exceptions. It's like, yeah, you might be wrong. But again, I'm not going to say that any of us are wrong because it's just based on how we feel and what we like to see or how we feel about them. Even Halloween Ends, a lot of people hate that movie. In me, whenever I first saw it, I did find the movie intriguing because I didn't know where it was going. And I'm not gonna sit here and like just hate on a movie just to hate on it, jump on a bandwagon, but like it did pique my interest because I was like, what the hell is going on? Like that's my whole thing when it comes to a movie. I want to be interested or entertained with what's going on, and I was interested. I don't know if I was entertained, but I was interested because I was like, what are they doing to my boy? So you could possibly be thinking this is gonna be an off the walls type of list, which mm, mm, maybe in a way this is gonna be a little tough just because there are a couple movies in here that um or at least one specifically. I can say one specifically that means a lot to me, and if it wasn't for that movie, then I wouldn't really have ever gotten into Halloween, Michael Myers, everything. So let's just go ahead and get and start running these down of my favorites, starting from worst worst to best. Let's get it. Okay, so at the bottom of this list, which I want to give Rob Zombie just a little credit for doing his own spin on Halloween 2, but which is actually Halloween 2 years later. I will give Rob Zombie the benefit of the doubt. I did see a podcast where he was talking about how he did not want to make this movie and he just really wanted out of his contract. And so basically they forced his hand and he was like, okay, then here you go. And we got this. Now the concept of like, the white horse and everything in this movie isn't terrible, but it just didn't really make any sense. If you know, if the Halloween, if he would have took the original Halloween 2 route and the hospital scene where Laurie is actually just dreaming or whatever you find out, if that would have been the approach for the whole movie, like that dream sequence of Laurie dreaming in the hospital was honestly that's like one of the best parts of the movie. And like why didn't we get that for like a whole movie? Just make that like give us like a hour and a half long movie or like an hour and 20 or something of something like that. Like I think that sequence lasts like 20-30 minutes. And just that's really the only credit I can give Rob is that Halloween or not, that hospital sequence was the best part of the movie by far. Other than that, the movie is confusing and mm, it's rough. It's rough, Rob. I love you. I really do. Love your music. But that is number 13 and it is the bottom of the list. Now let's get to number 12. So, let's just say I am not the biggest fan of Halloween 2 1981, but I mean, put it on the background or whatever. It's enjoyable. It's just kind of just slow paced, which that's fine with. It works with a bunch of movies, but I find myself a little bored with the movie, and like I still do love the movie, and I will watch this every day, every hour, every minute, every second over Rob Zombie's Halloween 2. Don't get me wrong, but it's just like I think the opening, like the first 20 minutes or whatever, are great. I love that. But then like the movie is like really slow because like it's like Michael getting to the hospital, everything like that. Then like I don't know, it's just really slow and like it didn't have like I know that the original Halloween is kind of slow and everything, but it just works. It just flows, it works because like Michael's stalking these girls constantly. But in this one it's just like we find out that Michael and Lori are brother and sister. How that happened, who knows? But I mean, I guess we had to add it in for movie's sake, and then with future sequels, they just ran with it, and so I'm fine with it. But I do know that this will make a lot of people mad. 'Cause I know a lot of people love Halloween 2, and there might be a lot of people that hate Halloween 2, which um that's what we do over here on WTF. You may love a movie or you may hate a movie, or vice versa. I may love what you hate, and you may love what I hate, but I just can't. Like Halloween 2 may be my least watched besides Season of the Witch, but we'll get to Season of the Witch when that pops up on the list. Just coming soon. But yeah, I just Halloween 2 was it's just not the best, but I will watch this all day over Rob Zombies. Okay, at number 11 on this list. Yes, I have Halloween 5 ahead of Halloween 2. But that's just because, honestly, if you just sit back, relax, Halloween 5 is kind of dumb, but it's enjoyable. I will watch this. I mean, I don't hate this movie. I don't love this movie, but I love Michael Myers. And you get to see Michael use different weapons. You get to see him use, what is it, the little garden rake that he puts in the dude's forehead. You get to see him use the scythe or scythe, however you want to say it. Fucking, like, what else do you want? Like, we never really got to see Michael use like different weapons, um, until this movie. Besides, like in Halloween 2, where he used a little scalpel, but like this, it's enjoyable, and I do know that there are probably a lot of people that love Halloween 5, and hey, more power to you. If you just sit back and just relax, be like, yeah, this movie compared to, you know, 4, like this movie is, I can't compare this to 4. 4 is way better than this movie. But I will say it would have made more sense in this movie. If we could remake this movie, just real quick, this video may be like 20-30 minutes long. But if we could remake this movie and Rachel was in the spot of, I'm blanking on her name, because Tina. Tina, yes, of course. I honestly, I do not hate the character of Tina, but it just didn't make sense for Tina to be our main girl, besides Jamie. It just didn't make sense. Why wasn't that Rachel? And like I mean, it's because the director. There's you can go into a whole debacle of it, and I can go into a video on every single one of these movies. If you want me to, just comment down below. Let me know. But yeah, Halloween 5 has a lot of issues, but it's enjoyable. Way more enjoyable than the last two or the last three. And I'm sorry, and I know that hurts some people to say maybe, but it is the truth. It is the truth. Okay, so for our next movie, it is hard to lump this movie into the series just because it's doesn't have Michael Myers. Technically, it does in like on the TV or whatever, but it just It doesn't fit that. But I watched this. I used to always hate this movie. I've seen it a couple times, and then recently, it was either earlier this year or like late last year. I watched this movie, and I was just like, why did I hate this movie? And I know Halloween 3 is one of those movies that has come around for a lot of people. Halloween 3 has come around for a lot of people, but it just, like, I get Halloween was never supposed to be just about Michael Myers. It's supposed to be an anthology series. And that's great and all, but, you know, nah, I can't. I enjoy this movie. I do. Specifically this when I watched it this past year, or a few months ago, whatever you want to call it. Um, I enjoyed it. I just sat back. I was just like, this isn't bad. The score is pretty good. It does have like a really creepy vibe to it and everything. And if this would have been like canon somehow to like the Michael Myers, or maybe even like the Colts and everything, Colts of Thorn and stuff, like that'd been like really cool and like really fucked up and creepy. So yeah, Halloween 3 is in this spot, and I'm sorry, but it just has to be that way. It just has to be that way. And I know a lot of people would probably lump this or just set it to the side and be like, yeah, honorable mention or something. But it has Halloween in the title, so we have to put it on this list. And whether you like it or not, Halloween 3 is better than all those the other three movies that I've listed so far. So sorry, not sorry. Now the next one is going to be, I wouldn't say it's going to be a shocker, but you're in for a sight. Okay, so next on our list, I said you were in for a sight. Uh, in a way. So yeah, next on our list is Halloween Resurrection. Although whenever I was a little younger, which I'm not that old, but when I was a little younger, honestly, I loved Halloween Resurrection. Like, I didn't know what all the hate was about and everything like that, but now that I'm older, I understand. Um, this, now that I know basically all the behind the scenes things that happen leading up to this movie, and like how this movie wasn't even really supposed to happen, but it was just like, yeah, like this is what we're gonna do and everything. Um, it doesn't make a lot of sense after, because this falls into the original timeline, or it falls into the H20 timeline or whatever, and like, why was this movie even made? But I mean, if you just sit back and chill, it is honestly pretty fun. And Busta Rhymes elevates this movie. The things he does, says he chews Michael's ass out at one point for playing Michael Myers. If you haven't seen Halloween Resurrection, just go watch it. Go watch it for Busta Rhymes alone. It's hilarious. But a lot of people hate on the mask in this movie, but honestly, um like the mask he specifically wears like in the house and everything. Um because I think there is a couple different masks or whatever. But it is one of my favorite masks. I don't know why, it just sticks out to me, and it's one of my favorite masks of the series. But yeah, Halloween Resurrection is fun, and honestly, I can just put it on and just be like, yeah, you know. And that may ruffle some feathers, but Halloween Resurrection is fun, and that's why it's dumb, but it's fun, and it could have been it could have been a bigger piece of crap than what it already is, but it's not. So it's like, just enjoy it for what it is and just sit back and relax. So next on our list. So next on our list we have Halloween: The Curse of Michael Myers, or The Cult of Thorn, which, if you really dig into it, was never supposed to be a thing. It was never supposed to be a thing. It may be like, why, just why. I know that this probably ranks a lot lower on some people's list, but some people do love the Cult of Thorn. Um, but it was never a planned thing, which, you know, I don't really care about that. Like, I'm not looking at it like that. But it is a fun movie. It honestly does have one of the creepier vibes. Even my wife, my co-host on the podcast, she will say this to her. This is one of the more creepier um Halloween movies, which I will agree with her. The tone and everything is like a lot grittier and creepier. And then like when you find out Michael's being controlled, which that in in like theory and everything it works and it makes sense in a way, but it's like Michael is this unstoppable killing machine and he's being controlled and being told to kill his family. Like we didn't have to do that to Michael Myers, but I understand and everything why they did it. We had to make another movie, but it honestly is like it's like kind of like gritty, and just the vibe of it is like a lot creepier. And I just I appreciate like the more like creepy vibe and everything like that. Um, but just go look at all the behind the scenes stuff and like about this movie and everything. Basically, they had to like figure out what the hell the dude was doing in Halloween 5, figure out what he was doing. It's like, okay, now we have to do this to like kind of make that tie in, make a story, make a movie. Um, they didn't have to, but they did, and we got this. And I do um recommend the producer's cut just because the ending is kind of wild, and it makes more sense than the ending, the I guess theatrical ending. In theatrical ending, you're just left there with Michael's mask on the ground and Michael's gone. But in the producer's cut, in that ending, um, Michael, you see Michael as the Man in Black at the end of the movie because he's getting away, and then Dr. Loomis ends up getting the Cult of Thorn. That's who's screaming at the end of the movie, which makes more sense, kind of. And I just this movie is just I have it higher just because I do like the in my opinion, like I said, I like the creepier tone and everything, and like the creepier vibes from it and everything. Michael is huge also in this movie. I'm not calling him fat or anything. Dude's massive. Like that Michael is like dude's massive. And besides, we're not talking about 30-foot tall Rob Zombie Halloween massive. We're talking like just like beefcake. So for our next entry is the most, I would probably say the most controversial Halloween movie to this day. Um, Halloween Ends. I did say in the beginning of this video that Halloween Ends, although I did enjoy it, or take that back. I said I was intrigued and interested with what was going on. Never said I enjoyed it. There are certain parts that I enjoy. Um, there is a podcast that I listen to, the horror show, um, where they absolutely hate this movie, which I can understand why. I wouldn't say I hate it, but I do see what they're saying and everything. If this would have been like they said, if this would have been like an alternate um timeline, or something like that, where it's like, yeah, here's this kid Corey, he ended up going crazy or whatever and killing a bunch of people. Like they were saying, like if it was like a Haddonfield universe type movie or something like that, like it would have made more sense. And I agree, but I don't hate the movie because it has Michael Myers in it, and um, uh, uh for like 7 minutes, but I don't hate it. And the kills that are in here are pretty good. Um, I was very interested to see what they were doing with the story and like how it all happened and everything. And in my opinion, like I was interested with the whole movie and intrigued. That's my view on it. But how this movie ended had me in shock. Like what they did to Michael Myers. The I get it, you know, Laurie wins in the end, you know, but why? Just just why? Like, why couldn't Michael just win in the end? I'm sorry. I I just love Michael Myers, and like they throw my boy in what, a wood chipper or whatever you call it, to get rid of trash. Like, Michael Myers is not coming back unless evil is just like spreadable and Laurie became evil. Like, if they were to make another movie, they're not. We already know that that's not gonna happen. Like, the rights for Halloween have already been bought by another company, and they're working on like a universe for Michael Myers, like movies, tie-ins, TV shows. We already know that. So I do have ends a lot higher than other movies. A lot of people might have ends at the very bottom, but I was just intrigued with the movie. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I was intrigued with the Corey character and everything like that, and but just I will say that it kept me the most intrigued, probably out of all the Halloween movies, and that might be weird to say, but just because I had no clue where they were going with this movie, and you love or hate how what I say, that's fine, but oh, this movie is rough, but I would like every time I turn it on, I'm intrigued. I'm like, is something gonna change this time? Like that's what a movie is supposed to be able to like hold you, and this movie like holds me. I'm just like watching. I'm just like, did this really happen, or is this gonna change, or it is rough though, and um, but I do love. I will say one thing I love. I love how the movie like work. I wouldn't necessarily say works, but how it. I don't know. It's weird to say. I do not hate this movie. I feel like it's kind of like a love hate relationship, and that's how I feel about this movie. Next on our list is Rob Zombie's Halloween, which this is a long ass movie. I will say that for a Halloween movie. Like, I think this was like the longest movie, maybe before 2018 and Kills. But this movie, honestly, it's pretty creepy, and like you get like a backstory on Michael, of like how he was a kid and everything, and like basically like how like he evolved into Michael Myers. You know, basically like he was bullied, mistreated, and everything like that, and the only person that really cared for him was his mom. And I get that and everything, and like then he just went on a tangent and started killing everyone. His sister was a-hole to him, but I don't think she deserved what she got. But shouldn't be a bully. That's all I'm gonna say. Even though that's probably not justifiable, but let's not be bullies here. But just this is a good movie. And I do appreciate this movie. I do like the alternate Michael escaping scene better than I do the original, just because um the original involves a certain scene and a certain action um done, and I don't like those type of scenes and stuff like that, and um I don't think it needed to be in a Michael Myers movie. So I like I'm not gonna speak on it, but I like the alternate scene where Michael, the guards and everything are transporting him through like the uh two doors or whatever, and then he escapes or whatever like that, and kills everyone there. But I prefer that, and then just seeing how big Michael is. This Michael is scary because how huge he is. Like this dude is a brute, is a force. But I don't think he could take Halloween Kills Michael Myers whatsoever. Halloween Kills Michael Myers would destroy this Michael Myers. But this Michael Myers would destroy a lot of other Michael Myers. I'm just saying. I do love the way the mask looks. This mask, I love the zombie. It's like a zombified version of the mask. Um, get it? Rob Zombie, Halloween. But it is great, and it is a good entry. You can look at this, you can hate it or whatever. Honestly, this should have been a one-off movie, and I do see Rob's frustration. The way the movie ends, Laurie, boom, to Michael's dome in a movie. Great. I'm fine with that. Even though you're killing off my boy Michael, I'm fine with that. That's a one done movie. Rob had his take at it. Appreciate it. I don't really have too many negative things to say about this movie. Like, in my opinion, everything is like well explained. I feel like I don't know. I enjoy the movie. It is creepy and everything, and like obviously Rob did a lot of his movie is influenced by the original 1978. Um, which and then he adds on extra stuff to that, which great. I'm fine with that. I don't really have too many negative things to say about this movie, and that'll probably going forward. There's gonna be for a bunch of the movies. Next on our list is Halloween. 20 years later. Um, don't mind whatever Bente on it, however you say that. It's just a poster. Um, this movie is a Scream movie. It's written by Kevin Williamson and everything. Just because there were so many like different ideas for this movie, and I could go on. I could eventually on the podcast we're gonna do an episode on this movie, and so everything will get explained on that. But I do like this movie. I do enjoy this movie. But this Michael, I wouldn't necessarily say he's one of my favorite Michaels, but this I do love this movie, and obviously I love Scream, and this movie is a Scream movie without a doubt, and but it is very fun. It's a good movie, and it's was a in the 20 years later timeline. It goes 78, 81, 20 years later, and then Resurrection. Which Resurrection was never supposed to happen, but it was supposed to happen. It's weird. Um, LL Cool J should have. I feel like he should have had a bigger role in this movie. Maybe. Just I like LL Cool J. I love his music and everything. Um, but the way the Jamie Lee Curtis plays her character great in this movie, and the kills are cool and everything like that. But the mask, one of the worst masks in the series, or all. There is four different masks in this movie. We're not gonna get into that, but they should have just in the opening when Michael's first revealed, they did use the mask from Curse, and then they were like, "Yeah, no, we can't do that because we don't want it to tie into Curse, or people think it's a Halloween Curse of Michael Myers movie." They should have just used the Curse mask because Curse mask honestly is not bad. But just whenever Laurie and Michael finally meet up, you're like, "Whoa, hey, we got something there." It's really cool to like basically see like Laurie be like, "All right, I gotta face my demons now," and like she goes on the hunt for Michael and then chops his head off at the end of the movie. I'm fine with that. I will take that in. I will take the ending of this movie over the ending of Ends. Like I would have preferred Laurie just chop Michael's head off in Ends with an axe. Recreate the this scene or whatever. Honestly, that's a good idea. I never thought about that till now. Recreate that. Pay homage, you know? But no. Um yeah, the everything leading up to this and everything, Michael is like a lot weaker and everything in this movie just because it is a Scream movie. It's Halloween Scream 20 years later. But I'm not knocking it for that. and it is perfectly enjoyable movie, and you will have a lot of fun with it. And I don't really have too many negative things to say about it. See what I did there? Next on my list, I know this is gonna make a lot of people mad. And look, this is a longer video than I anticipated, but it's kind of like a little in depth of each movie, kind of. But Halloween Kills is not like, say what you want. You just sit back, turn your brain off, and watch this movie. You're gonna enjoy it. Michael just going around slaughtering the whole town. Thank you. I've always wanted to see that in a Michael Myers movie, where it's just Michael just going out, taking everyone out, destroying everybody. Thank you. Fine. Good. Done. Let's get it. Like, great. I'm all here for that. 100%. I love Halloween Kills. Like, my brain just goes sloop. I'm just like, yes. 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 My only complaint about the movie is this is a Michael Myers movie. Like, straight up. This is like the majority of the movie were with Michael Myers. Um, or at least most of it were with Michael Myers, and I'm down. But I will say that this should have. Ends just kind of like I can't get into ends. Just anyways, just the way that this, and like I said, I don't hate ends. I don't. I just wish like it kind of would have followed what Kills was doing, you know, and then like it led up to like ends being like the whole movie is Laurie happens maybe like a year or so later. Laurie recovers and it's Laurie versus Michael, you know, like game on, great, but that didn't happen. But Halloween Kills is one of my favorite entries in the series, just because Michael is just takes out the whole town, and a lot of people think Evil Dies at Night is corny and everything like that, which kind of is whenever it's said 1,000 times. But I get it. I don't hate. I love this movie. I've always wanted to see Michael just mm, take out the whole town. You know, an unstoppable fucking Michael. This Michael destroys. I This Michael destroys. Even like 2018 Michael, if we compared all the Michaels together, this Michael Myers destroys every single. You may not agree with me, but this Michael Myers destroys every single Michael Myers in the whole timeline, in every single Michael Myers ever. Like if you put all of them up against each other, this Michael Myers is walking out the room. He's the only one walking out the room. I love it. That's all I'm gonna say about Kills. Hate my decision if you want, but hey, if you look at it from like Michael just the way I looked at it, you enjoyed it. Because I always wanted to see Michael just go ham. And he did. Okay, we are starting to round out this list. And this is definitely gonna ruffle some feathers that I do not have this at number one. And I'm sorry. Actually, I'm not, but I feel like this at number three or four, three. This is is a good spot. And the only reason I have the other two movies that have not been listed higher is because I can't give you like a definitive answer. It's just I love 1978, and if it wasn't for this, we never would have had Michael Myers. We probably never would have had. Um, Obviously, we wouldn't have Michael Myers. We never would have probably had Friday the 13th and other slashers and everything. Um, this is a great movie. There's real. It's almost basic, almost a perfect movie. Like Michael's just, and like this doesn't involve the sister storyline. It's just like these girls told Michael to f off, and he's like, all right, I got you. He stalks them, kills them. Then like Lori is his pursuit because she's the one that got away, and so he had to keep going after her. You see what I'm saying? But there's The only thing, because you know, like a lot of movies nowadays are like a lot faster paced, and but like the slower pace definitely works with this movie. It's just I prefer kind of in a way more of like a sped up pace kind of ish thing. I don't know what I'm saying, but that's just where I have the movie, and like I said, I have nothing negative to say about this movie. And honestly, it could, depending on the day, it could be my number one. It could be my number two. You know, it could even be last, depending on like how I feel. You know, what I want to see. Now, it could never be last. Rob, I'm sorry, Rob, but your Halloween 2 will always be last on my list forever. I'm sorry. But yeah, this there's not I can't say anything negative about this movie. It's great and it's great. That's all I can say about it. Starting to round out this list at number 2, we have Halloween 2018. And you can bag on me, you can hate on me, all you want. My wife may have a different view of these movies or whatever. Honestly, if you would like to see or hear what she thinks about the movies and everything, let me know and I will get that information for you. But Halloween 2018, I remember this movie came out. I loved it. I didn't think anything of it. I was like, oh, fuck, let's go, dude. Like, saw it in theaters, and then, like, I ended up buying it on DVD, and I got the digital code. So, like, basically every day when I was at work, I was watching this movie. And, like, this movie, I could quote every Halloween movie to you, like, through and through. But, like, I don't know. There's something about this movie. I just love it. The way Michael is. He's still stalking, but like being like more of like a I'm gonna kill you, dude. Like, oh my. There are a few things that you could probably. There's definitely a few things that you could say about this movie. Like why? Like that's a big answer. Um, a lot of people are gonna go with this like why? With like things that happen in this movie. I'm just like yeah, yeah. Like I'm the dude in the background, like, let's go. Um, I, I love everything about this movie, and like some parts don't make sense, and that's fine. Movies don't always have to make sense; they just have to entertain you, and that's what this movie does. Even now, like I'll put it on, I'll be like, all right, let's go. Like I I enjoy this movie way too much. I think that's my biggest issue. Um, and like a lot of people get it like we're gonna end up doing an episode on this on the podcast. A lot of people get it twisted. Michael did not pursue Lori. They explain that in Halloween Kills. Michael did not pursue Lori. He just ended up in the same spot with her because of Sartan. Sartan wanted, or Sartain, whatever. He wanted to see Michael meet up with Lori to see like what that was about. And then Michael just walking around like, sorry, look, there's a house. He's just killing people. Like, and he finds Lori again. Like, dude, like that's one of the things I hate. Like people say about this movie is just like, why is he going after Lori? He's fucking not. He's not. Lori's going after him. Like, come on now. Like, ugh, I don't know. I just love this movie, and so some people, y'all are probably gonna rip me for this take, and that's fine. I'm alright with that. Let's go, babe. Now we are at the number one, my favorite Halloween movie ever, ever. And it's maybe because whenever I was younger, I got tortured basically with this movie. Like, I hated this movie when I was younger because, like, um, and like I was petrified, terrified of Michael Myers because of this movie. But I think it was like ingrained in my brain. If it was not for Halloween 4, I probably wouldn't like scary movies. I probably wouldn't love Michael Myers. And like, mm, it's this movie. If it would have had the 1978 mask, dude, this movie would be better. The only negative I have about this movie is the mask. That is it. You know, you get the creepy tone. The intro to this movie, like the overview of like Haddonfield and everything, dude, is great. Then the opening where they're transferring, great. Like what? Like what are we talking about? Like this movie is just like, if it wasn't for this movie, I do not love horror. I don't love Michael Myers. I don't get into horror movies if it is not for this movie. And this movie is like, it's just it's fun. Michael kills a girl with a shotgun, but doesn't shoot her. He shoves it through her. Like what? What the hell? Like, it's great. It's great. Like, it's a shame. No, it's not a shame. They didn't want to bring Michael back, and then like, all right, let's bring Michael back. And then at the end of the movie, basically Jamie was supposed to take over, which fine, whatever. Like Michael is Jamie's uncle. Fine, I'm fine with that. Let's build that into five, and like Jamie's locked up because she's crazy or whatever. Michael is still alive somehow, and then he comes to rescue her from being locked up, and then I don't know. I'm just spitballing ideas right here. I might be dumb, but I've definitely been better than five. But I don't, this movie just holds special place in my heart because if it wasn't for this movie, um, I'm not a Michael Myers fan. I'm not a horror movie fan. So yeah, it, it's my favorite forever for all time. I would my Halloween movie, horror movie, maybe. I'm not too sure. But I hope you enjoy my list. If you don't, just let me know. Like we're here, like I said at the beginning, we're like we can have different views and points and everything, but we can all still love the movies. We love Michael Myers. We love horror movies. We can still love these movies. We can disagree and agree about these movies, but we can have a good time doing it. There's no need for us to argue. Like you may hate my takes or whatever, but that's fine. That's all right. And I may not like your takes. That's okay. And like I'm fine with that. Like we can live in a world where we don't have to argue, and we just like, yeah, I get, I understand, or we can be like, yeah, no, not really, but all right, you know. So I hope you enjoyed this video. New episode coming out next week. Finally a new episode. I know it's gonna show the first episode of WTF didn't get posted. It's been posted for like 8 months ago, but that's just life. We're very busy, everything like that. But we're getting back on track. Happy Death Day in honor of my wife's birthday. My co-host Kayla is going to be our next, finally our second episode. And then on that episode, I will tell what I have planned for the next couple months for movies. I can tell you, July will be a shark year. I can tell you that. But other than that, I hope that y'all have a good one. I hope you enjoy my list, or you may hate my list, but it's okay. Just let me know down in the comments. And if you want to maybe get my wife's takes, my co-host takes on what she feels about the Halloween movies, her takes, I know at least one of her takes definitely different from mine. Like, she loves Halloween. Yeah, my co-host. I don't know if she loves it, but she does enjoy it. Okay, just because. Anyways, her view is like, how many more of these Halloween movies can they make? I understand. Anyways, I hope y'all have a good one. Please subscribe, follow the links. You can find the podcast over on Spotify. I do plan on trying to get out on Amazon, iTunes, and anything like that, but you can go find it over on Spotify, share with your friends and everything. WTF, what the fright. And I hope y'all enjoyed. I hope y'all have a great day, and thank y'all for sticking around for this list. I know it's a longer video than I said I wanted it to be, but maybe in the future we'll be able to get through this list faster. But Halloween, each one kind of had to be talked about a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'll catch y'all later.